Hi everyone, welcome back to the 12 days of SwitchUp and to the episode where we look at most addictive games that were released in 2023.
Yeah, I always like doing this one. We've done plenty of these types of videos over the years because I always find it interesting how people determine the word addictive in terms of playing games. You know, we've got a very different view on it, which makes for an interesting video. Mine's more pick up and play arcade style. Yours is just something that you literally can't put down, you know, be it an open world or whatever.
Yeah, Glen's in the arcades busting 20p's in the machine.
Exactly right, yeah.
And I'm there sat on an RPG spending like 150 hours. Let's go. So yeah, let us know your addictive games as well in the comments. Remember, we are giving away that Switch OLED at the end of this series. That's basically it.
Just a very quick thank you to the sponsor of this series, Untold Tales. We will highlight one of their games during this video.
Okay, so what are the most addictive games of 2023? Let's find out. Thank you, Untold Tales, the sponsor of our 12 days of SwitchUp. Today they'd like us to highlight Game Deck, which is on a huge sale, down to just £2.69. Now, I loved Game Deck. Just the principle, the idea of it, is so clever and it really does gel with my love of all things sci-fi. A game deck is essentially a detective that goes into someone's virtual world and tries to solve either, not necessarily a murder, but a different crime that's taken place. But obviously within those worlds, the other players all have their own avatars. So you might find yourself chatting to a unicorn about a grisly murder, and there's something sardonic about it that keeps it really interesting and entertaining. Now, there is some leeway in how you approach the cases as well. In fact, the very first one, there's like 2 or 3 different ways it can play out. Even seeing the main person that you're trying to save die if you do it wrong. It means there's some replayability here as well. And the investigatory system is actually quite clever. It's almost like its own minigame. Now, Game Deck quietly released a free update that added what's called the Definitive Edition for no extra cost, and this actually included an entirely new story. You gotta love that. There's also 30 different side quests in there. They added in extra mini-games, and if you like those old school isometric RPGs, things like the Shadowrunner series, yeah, this will really appeal to you. It normally costs around 30 quid, so for, £2.69, you would be mad not to. We do have a full review of this one as well, and another video, so we'll pop links and everything to that and the sale in the description and the top pinned comment. Thanks to Untold for sponsoring this episode. Let's start out then with a classically addictive game and a roguelite, Vampire Survivors, which released recently on the Nintendo Switch and previously had a massive following on PC. I have to be honest, it took me a while to get into.
Right, okay.
It has that weird thing where, and a few of the games on this list do it, and I think they're like, are they called like arena shooters? I don't even know. Basically, you've got enemies constantly flooding in, and you automatically shoot at them.
Yes.
So all you have to do is dodge, which feels like it shouldn't be fun.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does sound odd when you word it.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah,
I would actually like to have a bash at this one when we play whatever game we play next.
Yeah,
because it is incredibly not only addictive, but it's really quite calculated. You have to be very tactical with it.
Right.
So there's different power-ups in each of the levels that can be game-changing. Like one of them will clear the screen, you know. And when you've got like 100,000 enemies on there, it can be like just the right thing in a pinch. And what happens is, as you're killing, you're leveling up, and it's giving you a choice of 3 abilities. The classic.
Oh yeah, nice.
You know, the classic. You choose like, I don't know, more projectiles, like whatever it is you want. But there's also loads of different classes, and they make a big difference. I think there's like a cleric. All the classics.
Yeah.
You know, it's a vampire survival game. It isn't just vampires though.
Right.
It's all different kinds of like
beasties.
Beasties. Yeah. I was gonna say Frankensteinian. It's not even a thing, but I'm gonna go with it. All kinds.
It's Frankensteinian, is it?
Yeah.
By nature.
Oh, by its very at its very core.
Just define Frankensteinian to me, well, and everyone listening.
It's generally quite green, and it goes, and then you kill it with fire.
You know, Dr. Frankenstein wasn't green.
No,
you never made that noise.
It was
not
his
once.
Monster, wasn't
He's
it?
a monster.
And it's one of your pet peeves when people say, look, there's Frankenstein. No, there isn't.
Call the monster Frankie if you want, you know, just for ease.
I do like that.
But he was Frankenstein's monster.
I think I missed a trick there.
The monster, you know.
So yeah, Vampire Survivors, and multiplayer as well. 4-player if you want, if you've got that many friends.
Which I now haven't after being pedantic. Nice. Okay, the next one then is Double Dragon Gaiden.
Yeah.
Now obviously Double Dragon's been about for donkey's years now. Classic beat 'em up. Not a game necessarily you'd consider to be addictive or on an addictive games list in its traditional format.
Yes.
But that's where this new version comes in that they've changed it up to add some roguelite elements to it. And I know that does put people off, but it's not as harsh as it sounds. Basically, as you go through the levels, you're collecting currency as you're beating up the characters and whatnot. And at the end of each stage, you can use that currency to then buy perks that will improve your characters. And obviously if you're playing it in multiplayer, each person can do this. But you can also buy like extra lives or continues and whatnot as well. And if you don't use that currency on that, then you can use it to buy new characters. So there's just so much you can do within the game, you know?
Yeah, I think it was, I honestly didn't even realise it was a roguelite until we got like halfway through, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is what we're doing here. And you do have to be a bit tactical in what you choose to upgrade.
Yes.
Isn't it like a shared pool of points?
It could well have been. I can't quite remember that part of it. It may well have been. But you are right, because if you just think, oh, well, this one's available, I'll take it. Next time round, you haven't got as much money or currency to get something that could be potentially better. But then as well, like I say, you do have to buy these lives or these ways to continue.
Yeah.
Because if you don't buy them, you'll go back to the beginning of the whole stage as opposed to, say, that segment of a level.
Yes.
So it's like, do I save some money in case we fall on hard times, or do I just beef up and buy everything and, blitz through?
Plus, it does have an element of randomness, because I would be getting power-ups that were like way better than yours, and you're like, what the heck?
I know.
Like, you got a new pair of socks, and I got like a rocket launcher.
Because you can go onto the screen and look at what you've got.
Yeah.
I love that in roguelikes as well when they do that. And you look at, like, as we were playing, you looked at Mark's and you see all the stacking elements and all the things he had, and you looked at my sad little collection at the bottom of the screen there, and it was quite upsetting. But really, really fun game. I really enjoyed it. We got to the final boss in one sitting, didn't we? And lost on him. I think we did have a continue, but it would have taken us back to the start of the stage. And, we gave up for the night, but 100% one I'd return to.
Yeah, very good game. And it does have replayability. I think there's also an extra stage that you can unlock once you've done the boss that we got wrecked on.
Nice. Okay, the next one is Doomsday Hunters.
Yeah, Doomsday Hunters is like the second in 3 ridiculously addictive roguelites that released at the same time. Mm-hmm. We've talked about one already, Vampire Survivors. We'll be talking about another one in a minute. But this one is very Hades. You drop down onto a planet. You basically have got like 4 directions you can travel each time, and they're little islands. It's like a little archipelago, and you just jump from island to island and fight things. It's one of those where it doesn't do, I wouldn't say, it doesn't do anything new.
Yep.
In its genre.
Mm-hmm.
It just does it really well. Very slick, nice controls. I wouldn't say there's not a great feeling of meta progression in this one. And I think the problem it had when it launched, and it's not a huge issue, is that to get to the end, I guess it is a bit of an issue. To get to the end and beat the final boss was quite easy.
Oh, okay. Right.
It then unlocked a little bit more and a little bit, but its meta progression for me wasn't as good as some of the others that we'll talk about.
Oh, fair enough, yeah.
You know, and the fact that it didn't have multiplayer, again, is a bit of an issue, or was a bit of an issue, especially compared to those other 2. In fact, there's 3 games I can think of now that I mention it. It didn't have that side, and for me, if there isn't that need to go on and do more things, then I'm not gonna. Normally, once I finished a game, I don't want to play through again.
Yeah.
Even if I've got a new character.
Yeah.
But there are some games, as we've proved with The Binding of Isaac.
Yeah.
Where you do, but then that has a lot of reasons to go back, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think for me, in terms of that, it depends when you unlock them. If you unlock them when you finish a game, like finish, what's the point?
Yeah.
In Isaac, you could finish a run, but then obviously it's a whole new run with, and also in things like, say, fighting games, where you may complete one person's story or one run of an arcade as one person. If you unlock another character, obviously you're going to play again with them. It's different. So I think it just depends when you unlock that character and how much more the game gives you to do after that point, not just doing the same again with another character,
And I think that's exactly right. I think there are some more advanced things you can gradually do, but I don't know if they really felt
significant.
That significant.
Yeah,
exactly.
The next one is called Pirate Outlaws.
Yeah, this is a roguelite deck builder, and we've got a load of those. I think this one is a prime example of how having a mobile release can actually be a negative for your console release.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because we've seen it a lot of times where people be like, oh, you can get that for free on the phone. But actually, when you go below the surface, you realise that they've taken the freemium elements out of it, and they've just made a proper game with what they had before. So yeah, I thought this was really very addictive. I do like that Slay the Spire style, where you've got your deck, you go on runs, you get a different pirate each time. Pirates are awesome, man.
Yeah, anything with a pirate in, it's like, yes please.
Yeah, it's just instantly better. and those pirates, they play very differently, each of the pirates. I'm going to say pirates as many times as I can, all right?
Yep.
Okay, so each of those. I was trying to think of another word for pirate, and all my brain came up was jaunty sailor,
seafaring dog,
rogue,
nautical rascal.
Those nautical rascals, man. There's like loads of different nautical rascals, and it does take. The only thing I will say, and I think this is probably a carryover of its mobile roots, is it does take a long time to unlock the other nautical rascals.
That's it. And when you do unlock those swashbuckling bandits. What then? I didn't have a question, I just wanted to say something.
Honestly, those seafaring dogs are tough to unlock. But it's a good game, and if you like Slay the Pirate.
Slay the Pirate.
Kill him with a sword. Walk the plank. You will enjoy this. We have a dedicated video. You'd be a lot better off watching that.
Yeah, I would say so. Next then, we've got Little Inferno.
Tiny
Inferno. Minuscule Inferno.
Very, very little.
It's just a game of synonyms today, isn't it? That's all we're doing. No, this is a good game. This is strangely compelling, like very compulsive, and I can't tell you why. I played it whenever it was, I don't know, a year ago or so, and it's you basically burn stuff.
Burning it.
You just burn stuff in front of a fireplace, and you earn coins obviously by burning stuff, and then you buy more stuff to burn more stuff, and you unlock new catalogues of stuff so you can burn that stuff too. It sounds ridiculous. Like, why would you bother?
Yeah, why do you bother, please?
Well, because it's addictive. That's why.
But how does it work? Do you get scored?
It doesn't necessarily give you the name of what you're burning.
All right.
It might give you a hint as to what it could be.
Okay.
And then you need to combine items, burn them together to try and unlock what it might have been.
I'm so confused.
Okay, I'll give you an example. A really easy one.
Okay.
It might be that you burn a corn on the cob with a bag of sugar, and the thing that you burn that you unlock is popcorn.
Okay.
You get what I mean? Yeah.
I get you.
I don't even know if that one's in the game. I might have made that up, but you get the idea.
Should be.
It should have been, yeah. But they are items that you need to combine to then, logically thinking about what it would take to make this something based on your clue.
Yeah.
And then you get your score and whatnot, and you move for it. And there is a story. There is a story as well, based on like this mega corporation, and they're basically selling you crap you don't need. That's the whole point, It's good. It's a good game. It's just it won't be for everyone, but it's one of those that I didn't think would be for me, and then I sat and played it and couldn't stop playing it,
Popcorn.
Yeah, of all the words I thought you were going to say there, based on what I just said, popcorn was not the one I expected.
That's what stuck with me, I'll be honest. It sounds good, I want to try it.
You just want to eat popcorn,
Yeah,
don't
I
you? Sad. Right, next we've got Brotato.
Brotato, said in that fantastic London accent.
If I was saying it full on London, obviously because I'm trying to enunciate my words and make sure that I can talk in a way that people would understand, I'd say Brotato with an A on the end.
Brotato.
Yeah.
There you go.
There'll be no O inside.
No?
But when I'm, trying to make it sound somewhat like the name of the game, it's Brotato.
So Brotato was
Yeah.
basically based, sorry, I said the O, was
You did.
basically based on, not based on, but very similar to Vampire Survivors.
Yeah.
So take everything you heard about Vampire Survivors, right? Yeah, you got it?
It was a long time ago now.
It
We've spoken
was.
about pirates and all sorts since then. But yeah, go on.
And then imagine it's a load of potatoes.
So no Frankensteinians this
No
time.
Frankensteinians this time, I'm afraid, my friend.
We have Potato-Stinians.
Yes, they said potato stinians. They love it. They love it. Anyway, you've got different ones again that have that are different classes. There's like a rogue potato. There's I don't know. There's one. Actually, I'll tell you what. What I do like about this game is it's really good for people that are super nerdy, aka me.
Yeah.
That like to min max. Do you know about min maxing?
Min-maxing?
You heard of
No, I
min-maxing
don't
before?
think I do. No, go on.
Fellow nerds, unite! So min-maxing is where you take a character and
Yep.
you basically you min-max, so you create the absolute most powerful combination that you can. And in this, if you get the SMGs and you just equip the SMGs, and just every time, cause you get new guns come in and you can like switch out whatever you want. You just get SMGs, all SMGs. Everything else goes in the garbage. In the garbage. Or in the bin.
In the bin, will do. Yeah, thank you very much.
His face, he's so worried when I say an Americanism. It's like, what's become of me, mate? He used to be all right. But now he's talking about the curbs and the sidewalks. So yeah, you stick all the SMGs on him. And it's another one where you don't have to shoot at anything. You know, you can let the game shoot it as it will.
Yeah.
And you can just sit in the middle of the screen. And the enemies will flood it.
And then their lives just fall off.
Exactly. They're just dying left, right, and centre.
And you literally don't have to do anything. So it's one of those that if you want to basically cheese the game, is what I'm saying, is you can min-max your character to be ludicrous, or you can play it the way it's meant to be played, pick up any gun that comes in, like you're going to get a Magnum, you've got an SMG.
Okay, yeah.
And then it's really quite difficult.
Why is it called min-maxing? That sounds like an oxymoron. I don't get it. What's min-maxing?
I know, you're maxing out. I don't even know. It just means like you're someone in the cut. Right, that guy, you've been waiting for this moment.
Your whole life.
Your whole life. You've just opened the door from the basement. You've come up for air.
And the MM signal is in the sky. And you've stood up heroically in front of it.
Yeah.
Cape swishing behind you. Now run to that keyboard and be the hero that we need but don't deserve. And tell me what the bloody hell min-maxing means. Next, we've got Super Bomberman R2.
Yeah, it's good to have Super Bomberman on here, I think, because it epitomises an addictive game in the classic sense. And we did a little sponsored video for this, which was a right touch, has to be said. Doing a sponsored video for who makes this?
Konami.
Those ones. Doing a sponsored video for them, I'd never forget it.
Such an honour to do it for who was it?
Good game, right?
Oh, great game. Super Bomberman or Bomberman is just absolute classic. You know, I've been playing this game since before...
bombs were a thing.
I was going to say that, but that's rubbish.
Yeah.
But that's all I can think of. Yeah. So, yeah, no. Since before bombs existed. And what a great game. No, it's in all seriousness, Bomberman as a series is fantastic. If you're playing with friends, you know, obviously one player, maybe not so much. It does have a good one-player mode. Which is almost, it's not open world, but you know, you kind of go about on planets and you need to progress the story. It's much better than Super Bomberman R's story was.
Yeah.
It's all about that multiplayer though, isn't it, you know?
It really is. Would it be remiss of me to say that this has a tiny little bit of a Pikmin influence? Don't things follow you around, like...
In that one play, in the single player bit?
Yeah, in that adventure mode. Or is that a bridge too far?
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a stretch, but I do like the fact that they did think outside the box in terms of what a single player mode could be in a Bomberman game. But just in terms of that classic multiplayer, obviously playing in those fixed arenas, the ones, you know, the smaller the better as far as I'm concerned when it comes to that. It's just absolute carnage. Playing with friends or, you know, some AI bots thrown in there as well. It's as good as it's ever been, and it is one of the most addictive games. If you've got a group of mates around, you could, you know, let's say you've got a few games in mind you're going to play over the course of a night. In my experience, back in the day, university was certainly a time for this. Bomberman would go on, it wouldn't come off again, you know.
This is a good little Christmas family party game as well, isn't
it? It's so much fun, so much fun. Next we've got one I think you were alluding to earlier. This is Ember Knights.
Ember Knights. This is what I was alluding to earlier.
I thought so, yeah.
Yeah, basically combine all of the ones I've spoken about so far. Take the Hades, sprinkle it on top, and add in multiplayer. That's what you got, Ember Knights.
So, you take the Hades-ness of Doomsday Hunter.
Yes.
You grab the Frankensteinians of vampires.
Yes, now we're getting there.
Chuck those in.
Yeah, he knows.
Get some potatoes.
Grab them.
Slice them up. Dice them up.
Any way you want.
Put them on top.
Sautéed.
And you have Ember Knights.
Ember Knights.
Put it in the oven for 35 minutes. Wait till it's golden brown, and you have yourself Ember Knights.
There you go. End of video. No, Ember Knights is basically Hades in terms of its combat and the way you control it. It's like exactly. You can roll around. This is one I do think really benefits from having multiplayer. And it's funny, actually, I got roasted for saying that Hades would benefit from a multiplayer. They're like, oh, how can you mark a game down for not having it? I'm not marking it down for not having it. I'm just saying I wish it did.
But you could, I mean, you gave it about 95% as far as I can remember. So
what more can you give?
96, but let's not say that because it destroys our argument completely.
As you can tell, we're getting to the end of these recordings, and it's all becoming a bit hysterical, isn't it?
Yeah, we've been trapped in a room.
We have.
Like that fella earlier.
Yeah.
There's no signal in the sky for us.
But yeah, Ember Knights is brilliant. It's had a load of updates. This does have solid meta progression, so like you do feel like every run you're actually gaining something back in that hub area, as well as unlocking the different embers that you can take out on your runs. Plus you can change your colour, you know, you can change the colour of your flame. And I like little customizations like that, you know. It doesn't require me to grind for 15 hours to get a different outfit. I can just be blue if I want to be blue.
Yeah, double D, double da.
Exactly. You wouldn't be a red one, would you?
No, I would not. This emblem on my shirt, this cock and ball right here.
Put them away.
Not that one. I was talking about.
The best part is he's pointing to a shirt of Star Wars with a picture of Yoda on.
I don't have a Spurs shirt on
Yoda's
today.
Head and gone, this cock and ball.
I don't have a Spurs shirt on today. It was symbolic. I'm pointing at Grogu. I do apologise, but yeah, you know what I mean.
I get you.
Exactly.
Addictive game.
Last one, probably, thankfully for most people watching this, is Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. Now, Advance Wars came out, I can't remember exactly when, but you're talking 20 odd years ago. Maybe a bit longer than that, actually. It was on the Game Boy Advance, and I remember being going on holiday, being in the airport and just being bored. You know what it was like? You know, you're stuck in there for hours now, and going into a shop duty free, you know, and picking up a game I'd never heard of, Advance Wars, and sticking it on, and wow, what a good game this was, you know. So it's got that tactical RPG element to it, of obviously having to lead your troops to victory, whereas in some games, obviously, you have a team that you start with. This is more like, say, Command and Conquer back in the day, where you could create your troops, you know, create more based on the revenue that you earn each turn, and just try and brute force it if you can, or start to really be strategic in terms of where you lay those vehicles. You have air movement, you have, you know, ships, you have obviously on land as well, and it can get very strategic. You know, I remember one particular battle in my review of this where mid battle, what I was trying to do just wasn't working, and you have to really think, where do I go from here? And it wasn't one where I could create more troops, so I was stuck with what I had. And I like, you know, that's good. That's when it tests your mettle, you know. And obviously you have both games, 1 and 2, on here. They have been updated in terms of the art, which in some respects looks lovely. You have like cartoon hand-drawn characters and whatnot, some cutscenes in there. In terms of the general game, I would have preferred the pixel art, but you know, it doesn't really matter, I suppose. Just two very good games that you can buy bundled together for, physically at least, you know, quite a good price now. I don't think it's sold very well.
So do these have the same things like Wargroove, where you can like occupy buildings and stuff?
You occupy buildings, and then obviously if you place troops on those, they recover health each turn. Each of your COs has a special power that you can use in battle when it charges up. And that again could well turn the tide of battle, or it could be that, say, one of the enemies you fight relatively early on can make it snow, and that means that your troops can't move as far in a go. So you've kind of got everything mapped out, you know what you're doing, and then all of a sudden it snows and you're buggered. it blows you out of the water in terms of what you were trying to do. Very, very good, very solid tactical game.
All right, so there we have it. Some games that you're probably going to potentially add to your backlog and play for far too long. That's our Addictive games. What are yours? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, do also let us know where you stand in terms of what's addictive for you in a video game. I just find it really interesting to know. And don't forget, if you are looking for eShop credit to pick any of these up, you can get your eShop cards via our website, SwitchUp.gg. You get yourself 5% back in cash back, and another 5% if you use the code SwitchUp. And just once more, a big thank you to the sponsor of this video, Untold Tales.
Lovely stuff. For all things Switch all the time, keep your Switch up. Not high see ya, normal see ya. See ya! That was all right.
That wasn't too.
No, that's a tone I can hit. See ya! Yeah.
There you go.
And it's not like, see ya. I'm going with that. What do you reckon, Glenn? Yeah, on the ears, surely.
Much better on the ears, yeah.
And on the throat.
There we go. Wind.
Both wins.